Peace be with you. I gotta practice with both hands. Peace be with you. I really messed it up then. Okay. Continuing on with the Book of Mormon. I'm going to the Book of Ether, y'all. There's some goodies in here. I actually skipped around a little bit, so we'll just jump in. I didn't do too much. And I used brown because ether again reminds me of space-time, and there's some goodies in here. So let me start off. Well, I can start off right here. The italicized stuff in chapter 1. Moroni abridges the writings of ether. The language is confounded to babble. Lead them to a choice and make them great ions. Right? Because ions are when you get down to the molecular structure, right? Ions create the compounds that create atoms and things like that, right? Beyond that. So basically, Moroni's like, the language is confounded to babble, meaning there's a lot of misunderstanding and articulation of words being utilized. Moroni's being instructed, says, lead them to a choice and make them great ions, or make them great nations, what it said, right? Either way, make them great people. And now I peed. Had to use the bathroom, right? Moroni, even though he was a prophet, he had to go to the bathroom. Had to throw that in there. Then he goes on. Ancient inhabitants who were the face of this country and the face of this planet count from 20 and 4. The people called this the ether. And again, ether is referring to like space-time. And space-time outside the paradigm of LDS goes beyond a name. It's not just the human's name. It's like the fabric that civilization, humanity wants to find as space-time, which is the fabric of existence that creates tangible reality. So it's really cool. And if you look it up, I actually got some emails. Some people emailed me. But the thing, ancient inhabitants who were the face of this planet count from 20 and 4, meaning like they had some sort of numeric system that they utilized that was different than the base 10 system that we use now currently. And if you looked at through history, the Mayans and the Aztecs, they used the base 20 system, so the different counting metric. So many different systems exist. There's like an Indian, ancient Indian cultures, they first utilized 0 differently, I think. I forgot what they did. Oh, I got the email back. And Pacific Islanders had a different system, right? So that just shows, this is referencing, he's trying to give hint at something, some sort of record, some sort of explanation that ancient cultures used to use that described the ether. And so you're like, oh my gosh, we're about to learn some cool stuff about how literal creation was created. And so verse 3, it says, I suppose this record concerning the creation of the world and also of Adam, of man, and an account of time is among the Jews. Dude, that is just a huge signal flare being like, you want to know about the record concerning the creation of the world, of humans, and of the account of time? I would go look with the Jews. I would go look with Israel, right? Look with some of the stuff they've got, some of the content. You might find some interesting stuff in there. Then he says, verse 4, therefore I do not write those things. Oh, making us go look elsewhere. But whoso findeth them will get the full account. So it's out there, y'all. That's basically, right? Prophets, they're sneaky, clever creatures. They layered their stuff so they made camaraderie have to be utilized, right? Because he literally says, I do not write those things. So if you want to go find them, go look amongst the other populations or locations of people within this planet. That's good. But behold, I give the full account on ether. Ether, again, on space-time of existence itself. And then verse 7, this is where it really gets good, right? Because on the surface layer, it's like, oh, he's just telling people's names. And these are very unique names, right? Like Shablon, Calm, Coriantum. Very unique spelling. Heartthum, very unique spellings, right? Anyone ever wonder that? Rip Lakish. There's some good stuff in there. There's layers. That's like a huge red flag being like, there's some big clues in here. What can you do with it? So, if you look at it, this is what it says underneath the layers. Cantor was the aha. What does that mean? Cantor was the aha. Cantor is often described as like song or speaking. I forgot, I looked it up. Cantor means to like utilize words, to create noise. And to cantor, official who sings liturgical music, right? What is music if not harmonious frequencies? The tabernacle choir, them singing, guys, that you get drawn to tears. You can't help but be like, this sounds so surreal of how much it moves and touches the frequencies of your ossicles and get you ready to receive something profound, right? Cantor, music, the movement, the vibrations of energy was the aha. Meaning movement, right? Movement, energy was the aha moment, was the idea. The awareness arose. Aha movements, bright understanding occurred. Movement was the awareness. Then it goes on to say awareness was the anthem. Aha was the anthem. Because what does anthem mean if not the beginning? Aha was the anthem. Awareness was the beginning. And anthem, the am. Right? Because whatever his name is, Amnigada. That's a lot of stuff. That's an interesting spelling, right? You can look at it from a ideological standpoint as far as linguistics go. But beyond that, with the letters themselves, it's intriguing that it spells anthem, which is root for like before, ante, beginning. So aha, awareness was the beginning. And beginning, the love. Am is the Latin root for love, right? I am that I am. That was God saying, I love that I love. Yeah, I agree, God. I love that you love too, right? Aha, awareness was the beginning, and beginning the am, beginning of love. And beginning the love, and beginning, right? And before, anthem, and before the love was a heart. Because what is a heart if not physical existence? So before awareness, right? Because awareness, existence exists everywhere. Before love, awareness, before awareness, love was a heart. Art was libish. Lib is like, have you ever heard the name like Mad Lib, where you fill in words, you fill in creativity, you express it? Libish, creative, freedom, liberty. Art, before, it's saying before love, before existence was a heart, was tangible. Art was libish. Art was right? Art, expression of yourself, creativity. Creativity was like free-ish, lib-ish, free-ish, right? Whoa. Talk about that. So, right? So it's basically saying at the beginning was awareness. And before awareness, before love, was a heart, a physical heart. Art was libish. Creativity, creation, experience was so. Not very diverse. Not very expansive. So then it gets really good. Because it says quorum and kim, right? Quorum sounds like quorum. Quorum is like a grouping, more than one. So a quorum of Kim was the Anton. That's a good hidden one. A quorum of kin was the Anton. If you look up Anton, that was in the Mori Anton. I kept looking at this. I was like, this is saying something. I was like, what is that? A quorum of Kim. A quorum of kin was the Anton. If you look up Anton, coincidentally, there's a company that made a free app that is a supercomputer for biodiversity and helping people, or biomolecular simulations that people can utilize for free to explore and learn. So a quorum of kin was the answer, right? A biomolecular simulation, right? If you want to experience, right? If before awareness wants to expand the depth and breadth of creativity and existence, the way to do that was to make a quorum of kin, which is equivalent to biodiversity. A quorum of kin is basically like create more things. Like, and I know in other paradigms they say like awareness like split itself into pieces so it can experience itself more, things like that, right? That is essentially what it's saying. In order to invoke more creativity and curiosity, awe, wonder, imagination, all these things, all new movement patterns, in order for awareness to increase becoming aware, right? A quorum of kin was the answer, right? Biodiversity was the answer. Oh, that's good. Then it goes, but then it says, right, it looks like there was a learning curve. A ton was RIP-ish. So, right, a ton of creative, too much existence, too much, caused a lot of RIP-ish. It was too RIP-ish, right? RIP, rest in peace. That means there was too much destruction and death, right? It even uses that as the word descendant. To descend into existence, to have too much, a ton, was deadly. It didn't have self-sustaining propagation. It didn't work out so well. And then it says, verse 24, and RIP was shez. What does shez sound like if not fertilizer? Being like, It literally sounds like awareness was playing with different creativity and trying to create literal existence and being like, I created too much stuff and everything kind of petered out real quick. Let's try that differently. I didn't like that. So that's what that is. And then verse 25, oh, there's some good stuff. And this is when awareness, what is often defined as God, consciousness, right? Movement decided in verse 25, and she saw he as the completion, the calm of Antum. Right? Because how do you self-propagate an entire species or existence so you don't have to constantly like be like pressing buttons, be doing stuff, right? A self-propagating system is one that sustains itself into the depths of eternity and infinity, right? So it sounds like this is like the moment that Adam and Eve was created, right? Man was created, a she and a he. The concept of two, duality, was created in order to have the beginning continuously go. So it says, and she saw he as the completion, calm, of Antum, of the beginning, of before, the origin. That's good stuff. And it can also shows the layers, because it says, verse 25 says, and Shez was the son of Heth. Doesn't anyone else be like, wow, that's such unique spelling to be included for names? Because you could even read, and she was the son of he, right? And then it also shows in there another layer, though, and she saw he was the completion of Antum. Because was spelled backward as saw, so right? So it sounds like awareness itself, right? The concept of God, movement, was like two of these like this. If movement patterns articulate and organize in this way, this will lead to a self-propagating cycle of propagating physical existence from the beginning. Good stuff. Movement is good. Then verse 28 is really good because AC was it says, and Coriantum was the son of Emer. ACE, coincidentally, are the only letters capitalized in ACE. He's like, there's an ace in this one. AC, what does AC mean? Like air conditioning, coldness, right? That's what humans utilize it now. This is why I love reading prophetic texts and stuff, because prophets, right? They can like perceive resonant structures and movement patterns. So they know how to play with movement patterns to make it be applicable even in current reality, right? Because AC wasn't invented back in the time when Ether wrote this, right? And it's coincidental that AC and ace is often like an ace up your sleeve, right? He utilized that coincidentally, right? What are the odds that a prophet would have an ace up his sleeve and hide it in his own writing? This is such a whimsy, man. I should pop popcorn for this as I do this, because it's so good. AC was the son of Emer. So AC, son, right? What does Emer sound like? If not the beginning of emergency, right? AC, cold. Coldness. What does coldness do? It literally, science utilizes this as well. It slows down movement. It slows it down enough to be able to do some cool things and study and observe and see things. But when humans, right? I've shared an experience previously. When you've ever been to a point where you're like freezing, it hurts. It hurts. Have you ever gotten like slapped, or like in soccer, when we play soccer, we got hit, or like something hit you? It stings. It stings deeply. Coldness hurts. Coldness is a sign of emergency, because coldness is stagnation. It's synonymous with like the meaning and interpretation of stagnation, of lack of movement. And lack of movement is like the worst thing you can do, because nothing like physically, quantumly, like is still. And so the worst feeling that you can experience is a lack of movement. So lack of movement was the sign of emergency. AC, coldness, stillness, stagnation was the sign of emergency. And emergency was the sign of omen. Verse 29, and Emer was the son of Omer. And emergency was the son of omen, right? He literally left the entire word O-M-E-R, and you literally just have to complete it to see omen. And it creates a whole nother layer. And emergency was the sign of omen, right? Stagnation was the sign of emergency. That's the signal flare, right? And emergency was the sign of omen. Oh, and then if you look at it, right, and that's a whole nother layer they hid in there, because if you separate sun for sign, it gets real good back into here. Oh, this book is just, this is goody goodies in here. Like verse 7, it says, Cantor was the sign of moron, but more on, right? Cantor was the sign of being cognitively more on, right? Being more aware. And more on, being cognitively more on, was the sign of aha, of light bulbs going off. And light bulbs going off was the sign of Seth. S. What else has a capital S that is important, right? What else when aha moments occurs? Understanding, right? Understanding is often the salvation of creativity and innovation, right? Look at the LDS paradigm, right? When they first started, they created entire metropolitan areas, spent significant time, money, effort, and building nothing from nothing, or something extraordinary out of nothing. They did it in Missouri, they did it in Ohio, and they kept getting kicked out because they were so innovative. No matter where they went, they were so innovative and expansive to the local community that the people, the local inhabitants were like, whoa, 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 we don't want this. This is just too far out because you guys are doing things that normally we aren't used to, about how fast things are occurring with how you can build and innovate. We don't like it, right? That's what occurs when aha moments, more cognitive onness, more cognitive effort leads to aha moments of clarity. And clarity, right, is a sign of an understanding of salvation, right? Do you know why LDS, even though they, like, if you look at the origin stories, they got knocked down over and over again. So much sunk cost going in. Everywhere they went, they would build something extraordinary only to have it ripped from them completely and start again over and over again. And they did it each time, and they got faster and better at it. Whoa, it's so cool, right? So that's where that went. Oh, sorry, going back to this, I forgot. In verse 25, that little part where it says, and she was the he, and the was the completion of the beginning. It also says he as the calm. She saw the he as the calm, as the communicative, as the voice, right? So that is why, right? Oftentimes, like I know in my last video I ranted about it, but it seems like in the comments, right? Women have the Relief Society that they have complete reign over, or does it fall underneath the like who does it report to? I don't know, but they have complete equality as far as leadership opportunity. So really, it's a moot point, right? Because it even says in here, it says she saw the he as the communicator, like the one that usually is up there standing and talking, right? So, yeah. I just found it so confusing. I was like, what? I was just so shocked that a woman has never held that position, but also because I was automatically thinking like, oh my gosh, are women just not worthy enough or valued enough to do this position, right? Because I don't know. I have a lot of confusion related to that, the juxtapost there, because it surprised me. But then I looked up the Relief Society, and no men have ever been given the opportunity nor authority to run that. And so it's equivalent, right? Because like running the Relief Society and running the paradigm of LDS, like there's equal opportunity there to have those positions of authority, to demonstrate the extraordinary efforts and opportunities that each of the humans have demonstrated within the paradigm. So apologies for that misunderstanding. I just didn't have all the information. Okay, so chapter 3 in Ether. This one goes on. This is good. Because he states in the italicized stuff, knowledge cannot be kept within. interpret to bring the record to light. Wow. And then it goes on to say, the number had been prepared was 8. Again, 8 adds, I love when prophets play and books play with numbers, because it has a whole nother layer of symbolism. So if you look at the symbol of 8, I don't even draw it. It's too easy. 8, okay? 8 is the infinity symbol shifted to a horizontal, a vertical position from horizontal. Because horizontal infinity, right? That's how math utilizes it, and this is the symbol. Do we all see how this is the exact same symbol, right? And so in this position, you're exploring infinity, infinite potential in a horizontal manner, meaning you're working at a level, versus this terminology, you're going up a level where you can then start to do this. Once this has been established again, this can start to be explored within that whole new framework. Because right now, to be quite frank, this has been explored to its full depth. And so now we have reached this. And so coincidentally, an exploration, an expansion of cognition of infinity in a vertical manner versus a mere horizontal manner. So the number has been prepared was 8. Yeah, what a coincidence that you have the infinity symbol in a vertical position in your text. Mount the call because it's succeeding, right? Spread that, yo. We're elevating our cognition, man. We're expanding the depth. We're revealing the hidden layers that are now available to be perceived. Rock white and clear, even as transparent glass. Tell me that does not say like rocket, man. Rock loud and clear, rock white and clear, even as transparent glass. Tell me that does not symbolize being completely openly vulnerable and transparent, and having your words and actions demonstrate a confluence of continuity across any perspective or perceivable perspective or opinion, right? That's cool, right? Because transparent, white and clear and transparent, you can't hide anything. Everything lines up so perfectly that it's just transparent as glass. That's cool. Rocket, man. Yeah, because this book is just filled with so much stuff, and all these layers are in there. So that's it for this one. This is gonna be a short one. I'm gonna try to find some more stuff. I'm having fun. I'm having fun answering all these questions, exploring it, learning. I'm learning so much, right? Because I'm inspired to do more from my life, from what everyone within the paradigm has demonstrated to me, especially the women. They're like so inspirational. Especially after seeing those like Mormon missionaries yesterday, the all group of females. It's like those news articles you see when like you encounter an all female flight crew. One time, like right when I got onto the plane one time, a female voice came on. It was like a pilot and co-pilot that are both female, and I was like, dude, I don't think I've ever flown on a plane where it's been piloted by an all female crew. That's dope. And I will say there are some studies. Oh, it's so funny. There's little medical studies and data that show female surgeons and female physicians have statistically different and significant outcomes to their surgeries compared to males. Isn't that funny? And I think it goes back to right, because like women are the innate children bearers, right? They're the innate propagators, right? Just like how Ether described it. Was it Ether? Yeah, Ether described it. Women are the chosen vessels that existence has created in order to propagate the physical existence of a species, right? Men can't get pregnant, period, right? You can't argue that. I'm sure there's someone out there that would like to, right? Maybe that could be developed in the future. I don't know. A uterus doesn't seem that hard to, replicate, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know how it works, right? Who knows? But I forgot where I was going with that. Women, natural. Oh yeah, they're innately the vessel that existence has chosen to, propagate the species without having to constantly teach or step in or do anything. It's like it's automatic, right? Programming, cellular programming, movement. And so yeah, it makes sense that the human species would then define you know, very unique roles for women within society itself. So, right? Because there's a lot of guys. We're going to get into some satire now because there's a lot of women leaders out there, right? How many world leaders over the course of human civilization and history have been female? There's been a lot, right? Countless, infinite numbers. It would probably be too impossible to compile the data, the numerical data, to compare the percentages and ratios of how many women have been so instrumental and have gotten recognition or acknowledgement for leading the entire species to profound levels of innovation and discovery, right? And keeping them safe. Yeah, there's been a lot of them compared to men, especially. So, okay, that'll be good enough. I'll keep going. So, peace be with you. I need to work on that. Peace be with you. We'll remix it.